Most of you in this room have never even met the real you, because the second it gets hard, you quit before you find out who the hell that person is. You ever been so deep in the pain, you start talking to yourself? Not like a pep talk, but like a straight up interrogation. Why the hell are you out here? What are you trying to prove? That was me, mile 70 of a 100-mile race, feet shredded, blood in my socks, stomach shutting down. My body was done, but my mind was still making deals, whispering, just walk it in, nobody will care. And that's when I realized, most people never see the other side of that voice. They stop right there. They think that voice is the truth, but it's a damn lie. Your body has so much more. It's your mind that taps out first. And when you listen to it, you never meet the real you. You see, the 100-mile rule isn't about running. It's about finding the point where you've got nothing left, then taking one more step, and another, and another. That's where you become dangerous. Because once you've lived in that space, past the breaking point, everything else in life feels light. But it doesn't happen by accident. You have to train for it every single day. You callous the mind the same way you callous your hands, by grinding it against something rough, over and over and over until it stops bleeding. That's why I talk about the accountability mirror. Every morning, you face yourself. No filters, no excuses. You stare at the version of you that's weak, lazy, soft, and you declare war on that person. And yeah, it hurts. But you think growth feels good? Hell no. It feels like your lungs are on fire, like your muscles are tearing, like your brain is screaming at you to stop. But pain is the toll booth. And on the other side is the version of you you've been avoiding your whole damn life. I've been broken. I've been on the ground, curled up, begging for it to be over. And every single time the same truth hits me, nobody's coming to save me. It's on me. Every step, every mile, every second past the point I thought I was finished. That's mine. I own that. So here's the truth. If you quit every time you're tired, you'll live your whole life exhausted. But if you learn to keep going when your body's done, you'll become something most people will never understand. That's the 100-mile rule. You push, you bleed, you suffer, you keep moving. And when you look back, you won't recognize the person who started. Most of you think you've been to your limit, but you've barely stepped on the gas. You stop when it burns, when you're tired, when it's inconvenient, and you call that your breaking point. That's not your breaking point. That's your mind waving the white flag long before your body's even close to finished. The mind is a liar. It's the inner coward that whispers the easy way out. That convinces you to quit because it's scared of pain, scared of embarrassment, scared of what happens if you keep going and still fail. That voice is comfortable, and it's been running your life for years without you even realizing it. When I was in my first 100-mile race, I hit a wall so hard at mile 70 I thought my body was done. My legs felt like they were broken, my feet were bleeding, I was pissing blood, and every step felt like a knife going into my joints. The logical part of my mind started negotiating. This is enough. You've proven enough. No shame in stopping now. That voice was seductive. It made quitting sound reasonable. But here's what I learned. Your body will go far beyond what your mind says it can. If you learn to silence that inner coward, you'll unlock a part of yourself most people never meet. Your body is an incredible machine. It's designed for survival, for endurance, for going the distance. But your mind is soft if you don't train it. It's looking for comfort, not growth. It's trying to protect you. But in doing so, it robs you of your potential. Every time you listen to that first quit signal, you're training your brain to surrender earlier and earlier. And every time you ignore it and keep moving, you're callousing your mind. You're building the mental armor that tells your brain, we're not done yet. Silencing the inner coward isn't about being fearless. It's about recognizing that fear and pain are part of the process. You don't get stronger in the easy miles. You don't grow when everything feels good. Growth lives in the moments where you want to tap out, where every fiber in your body says, stop. That's the test. And that's where most people fail, because they think those signals mean they're at their limit. The truth is, they're only at the limit their untrained mind has set for them. You have to retrain that mind. You have to put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable, where your body's screaming, and your mind is begging you to quit, and then keep going anyway. Because once you push past that mental quit point, you start operating in a space very few humans ever touch. And the more you visit that place, the more you realize your mind has been underestimating your body your whole life. That's when you stop being just another person and start becoming someone dangerous, someone unbreakable, someone who's learned the truth that most people never will. The mind quits first, but you don't have to listen. Pain isn't a signal to stop. It's an invitation to step through a door most people never even get close to. The problem is, the second pain shows up, most people treat it like a dead end. They hit that wall, they feel that burn, and they think, this is it. I'm done. But that's not the end. That's the beginning. Pain is the gateway. It's the toll you pay to get to the next level. And the reason most people never level up is because they run from that toll booth like it's the plague. I've lived in pain. I've been broken, busted bleeding, on the verge of collapse. I've had my shins feel like they were splitting open, my lungs burning like they were filled with fire, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would explode. And every single time, right there in that moment, there's a voice that tells me to stop. But I've learned something. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the truth. Pain is the most honest conversation you'll ever have with yourself. Because when everything is stripped away, and it's just you and that suffering, you find out who you really are. Most people only see pain as destruction. They think it's breaking them down. What they don't understand is that it's also building them up. But only if they stay in it long enough. You can't get stronger without tearing muscle. You can't get mentally tougher without first getting mentally uncomfortable. The breaking point isn't a cliff you fall off of. It's a door you walk through. But you've got to have the guts to turn the handle. Pain will try to convince you it's the finish line. That's the trick. You've got to reframe it. The moment you feel like you can't go one more step, that's the exact moment you're standing at the threshold. That's where every champion, every savage, every person who refuses to settle has been before. You don't get to that space sitting in comfort. You don't find it doing easy work. You get there when your body's done, your mind's screaming, and you're still putting one foot in front of the other. When I hit that point in a race, in training, in life, I tell myself, good, we're here. Now the real work starts, because I know everything before that was just the warm up. That was me moving through the shallow water. But pain, that's deep water. That's where you either drown or you learn to swim like a beast. So you push into it. You lean on it. You make pain your ally. Because if you can walk through that doorway, you come out the other side different. Harder, sharper, hungrier. And the best part, once you know where that door is, and you've stepped through it once, you'll spend the rest of your life looking for it again. Every single morning, I walked past that mirror and I hated the man staring back at me. Fat, weak, full of excuses. I could lie everyone else, but I couldn't lie to that reflection. That's when I started what I call the accountability mirror. No sugarcoating, no filters, no feel good affirmations. Just the brutal truth. I'd write down my flaws, my failures, my shortcomings on sticky notes and slap them right on that glass. You're fat. You're lazy. You're lying to yourself. And every day, I had to stand there and face it. That mirror doesn't care about your feelings. It only reflects the truth. Most people avoid that kind of honesty because it's uncomfortable. They'd rather scroll, distract themselves, bury the truth under layers of excuses. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you can't face yourself when you're at your lowest, you'll never climb out. The accountability mirror isn't about tearing yourself down for no reason. It's about exposing the weak spots so you can rebuild stronger. You have to strip away the ego, strip away the fake confidence, strip away the lies you've been telling yourself for years. Only then can you start the real work. Every goal I've ever hit, every impossible thing I've ever done started with that mirror. Not a motivational speech, not someone patting me on the back. A damn piece of glass forcing me to deal with reality. That's where discipline is born. When you can look yourself dead in the eyes and say, I'm not who I want to be, but I'm going to change it. The accountability mirror builds resilience because it gives you no escape. You can't hide from yourself. Every day it's there, waiting, daring you to confront what you've been avoiding. And over time, that daily confrontation hardens you. It makes you immune to criticism because you've already given yourself the harshest critique possible. Nobody out there can say something worse than what you've already admitted to yourself. This is where most people get it wrong. They think mindset comes from motivation. Mindset comes from confrontation. It comes from the uncomfortable truth that you aren't working as hard as you could. You aren't as disciplined as you claim. You aren't as relentless as you tell people you are. And instead of running from that truth, you stand in front of it until you decide to do something about it. That's how you build the mental armor to endure the impossible. When you've spent years holding yourself accountable, when you've been your own toughest critic, when you face the ugliest version of yourself day after day, you stop fearing failure. You stop fearing pain. You stop fearing the grind. Because you know exactly who you are and what you're capable of when the excuses are stripped away. And the only way to get there is to stand in front of that mirror and own every single truth you've been hiding from. Most people run from discomfort like it's fire. The second they feel pain, the second life starts pressing on them, they back off. That's why their minds stay soft. That's why fear owns them, why doubt controls them, why weakness creeps in every time life gets hard. You want to be unbreakable. You want to stand tall when everything around you is crumbling. You have to callous your mind the same way you callous your hands, through repeated exposure to suffering. Not once, not twice. Over and over and over until the things that used to crush you don't even make you flinch anymore. When I started running ultra marathons, my body wasn't built for it. My feet were shredded. My knees felt like they were grinding into dust. My lungs were burning so bad I thought I'd pass out. But I kept showing up. Every mile was like dragging my body through broken glass, but I knew that pain wasn't there to break me. It was there to build me. Every time you stay in the fight, when your body and mind are screaming at you to quit, you're adding another layer to your mental armor. That armor doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from embracing it and letting it shape you. Fear, doubt, and weakness, they're always going to be there. You can't eliminate them, but you can make them powerless. You do that by facing them head until they get tired of showing up. That's what callousing the mind is about. It's not about becoming some emotionless robot. It's about becoming so familiar with suffering that it no longer controls your decisions. Pain stops being a red light. It becomes a green one. It tells you you're exactly where you need to be. Most people think they can prepare for hardship by reading books or watching motivational videos. That's like thinking you can get calluses without ever picking up a weight. You can't think your way to toughness. You have to earn it. You have to deliberately put yourself in situations where you want to quit and then not quit. You have to sign up for the challenge that scares you. You have to wake up early when your body wants to sleep. You have to go outside when it's freezing, when it's raining, when it's miserable. That's where the layers start to form. The beauty of a calloused mind is that once it's built, the same struggles that once destroyed you become routine. The storms that used to knock you down barely move you. And when life hits you with something new, you don't panic. You lean into it. Because you've been there before. You've bled. You've suffered. You've stood in that fire long enough to know that you can take it. And every time you go back into that fire, you just get harder, sharper, more dangerous. That's how you make fear doubt and weakness irrelevant. That's how you callous the mind. Most people think the fight is over the second they feel done. They hit that wall, they feel the tank empty, and they convince themselves there's nothing left to give. That's the lie that keeps people average. The truth is, every single step after you think you're finished is where the real transformation happens. That's where you rewrite who you are. It's not the easy miles, the clean reps, or the smooth days that shape you. It's the ugly ones. The days where you're on the ground, gasping, every part of you screaming to stop, and you still get up. I've been in fights where my body was broken, my mind was fractured, and I had no business moving forward. But I stayed in it. I kept swinging. And what I learned is this: when you push past the point you thought was your limit, you are literally rebuilding your identity in real time. You stop being the person who quits when it's hard, and you become the person who keeps going no matter what. That's not just motivation, that's rewiring the foundation of who you are. Staying in the fight is about refusing to give that quitting voice in your head the final say. You'll hear it. Loud. Clear. It'll tell you, you've done enough. Nobody would blame you for stopping. But the moment you obey that voice, you confirm the version of yourself you've always been. And if that version is soft, scared, or lazy, it's going to keep running the show. The only way to kill it is to outwork it. You stay in the fight until the voice loses its power. People always ask, how do you find the strength to keep going? You don't find it. You make it. You make it in the moments where you're empty, but you take one more step anyway. You make it when you're on rep 20 and you push for 21. You make it when your lungs are on fire, your legs are bricks, and you tell yourself, we're not done yet. That's the forge where resilience is built. The fight doesn't get easier. You just get stronger inside it. And the more you stay, the more you realize how much you were capable of the whole time. That's the craziest part. Most people never even meet the version of themselves that lies past the breaking point. They walk away too soon, never knowing they were inches from becoming someone unrecognizable in the best way possible. When you stay in the fight, you start collecting proof. Proof that you can take more than you thought. Proof that you can survive the storm. Proof that you're not the same person who started. And every piece of proof you collect rewrites your story. You're no longer the person who almost made it. You're the person who did. And once you know that about yourself, nothing in life can make you quit the same way again. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to pick you up and carry you across the finish line when you're done. Every single mile past your limit is on you. That's the part most people don't want to hear, because it kills the fantasy. We all like to believe that when things get hard, someone will show up, pat us on the back, and help us through. But life doesn't work like that. When you're deep in the pain cave, when the world goes quiet, and it's just you and your suffering, there's no cavalry riding in. It's just you, your thoughts, and your willingness to keep moving. I've been broken in races, in training, in life. I've been on the ground, bleeding, body screaming to quit. And every single time, I realized the same truth. No one else can put those miles in for me. No one can take the weight off my back. If I stop, it's over. If I move, it's because I chose to. That's the raw reality most people can't handle. They want someone else to be responsible for their outcome. They want to share the blame. They want an excuse. But if you want to own your life, you have to own every second of it, especially the ugly ones. Owning the outcome means taking full responsibility for where you are and where you're going. It means if you fail, it's on you. If you win, it's because you earned it. There's power in that, but there's also pressure. And most people crumble under that pressure because it's easier to point fingers. It's easier to say, I could have made it if. But that's weak. That's letting life control you instead of the other way around. When you're out there and the limit feels like it's crushing you, that's when you have to double down on ownership. You don't ask for rescue. You don't wait for help. You dig in and decide, I'm not stopping until it's done. Because once you pass that limit on your own power, you realize something important. Everything past that point belongs to you. Nobody gave it to you. Nobody handed it over. You bled for it. You fought for it. You earned it. The best part about owning the outcome is that it changes how you move through the world. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop needing anyone to validate you. You start relying on the one person you know will show up for you every single time, yourself. And the more you prove that to yourself, the more unstoppable you become. Because once you've been through hell and walked out the other side on your own 2 feet, you know there's nothing left to fear. Every mile past your limit is yours, and no one can take that from you. You've heard me talk about silencing the inner coward, walking through the gateway of pain, facing yourself in that accountability mirror, callousing your mind through suffering, staying in the fight when you're done, and owning every inch past your limit. But none of it means a damn thing if you don't act. This isn't about feeling motivated for a few minutes. It's about becoming a different person, a savage. Someone who refuses to stop when it hurts, refuses to hide from the truth, refuses to hand their life over to excuses. Every single one of you has another gear, another level, another version of yourself buried under comfort and fear. The only way to meet that person is to chase the breaking point and keep going long after you've arrived. Don't wait. Don't hope. Don't look for a handout. Step up, dig in, and take it. Because the real you is waiting on the other side of suffering, and the only way to get there is to go get it.